Well, for more on this, Mary McCarthy joins us from Los Angeles. Mary, does this spell the end of the death penalty in California for good?
It doesn't at all. In fact, a moratorium issued this way by executive order by the government basically stands as long as Governor Gavin Newsom is in office. As we know, he was just elected at the start of the year, so he's just started a 4-year term. In California, you can serve 2 terms in a row as governor, so this could mean for the next 8 years that this is reality. In order for the ban for the death penalty in California to be entirely abolished, well, that would have to go directly to the voters. That did happen a few years ago in California, and it did not pass. That shows that here, even in a state that's known as extremely left-wing, blue Democratic compared to much of the United States, even here there is an awful lot of popular support for the death penalty. The polls show that slightly opposition to it has been growing, but largely across the U.S. there's been a tendency for half of Americans to be opposed to the death penalty and half of them to be for it. Often, many of those are people who on other issues would be politically on the left, Democratic and progressive. Many Americans simply do still believe that the death penalty is a just punishment for people who have carried out murders.
So if people are still divided, if the population is still divided over whether they support the death penalty or not, why is the governor doing this now?
Now, in some states that we've seen that have abolished the death penalty, and a total of about 18 have, as well as the District of Columbia, D.C., sometimes it's seen certainly as a political move by the governor. That was the case in Colorado, where he put a reprieve on the death penalty right before an election, or we've seen that in other states in order to please certain blocks of voters in order to get reelected. Here, that is not seen as the case with Governor Gavin Newsom. Again, he just won an election, but also he has been known as a long-time opponent to the death penalty, going back on the record for a number of years, saying that on an ethical, moral level, he does not believe in the death penalty. His arguments, which he stated yesterday when he first announced this, and again very strongly this morning when he actually signed the executive order at the state capitol, was that it's unethical on the grounds of often people who are facing capital punishment, who are at trial, they don't have an adequate lawyer because they're poor or otherwise underprivileged. Often they are people who are dealing with serious mental illness. And then finally, there is a race factor here in California and across the U.S. Disproportionately, the people who are on death row and who have been executed have been ethnic minorities, both Black and Hispanic, and saying that that simply is something that isn't fair, that needs to be reevaluated. And then from his position saying, absolutely, we need to do away with this for now here in California.
Thanks for that. That's Mary McCarthy live from Los Angeles.